Every year on X, there's this annual tradition that during the month of September, everyone goes bananas over some big happening that's supposedly going to go down on September 23rd. It's been going on for years now, but they show no signs of stopping. If you were to look up 9/23 on YouTube, you'll find a lot of people talking about the rapture, and a lot of people making these compilations of September 23rd being mentioned in media.
239 pounds!
These compilations feature references to the date that range from being really on the nose, as in yes, this catastrophic event will happen on 9/23, whereas with others you have to be a little deranged to make the connection. You see this bit from the opening to Little Shop of Horrors?
On the 23rd day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade, not too long before our...
That's exactly the date. But there's other ones, like in the trailer to Adam Sandler's 2015 magnum opus Pixels, where the score to Pac-Man is seen in the 239,000s, which is a little more of a stretch. But when you tally everything up, it's hard not to be a little suspicious. It's like every other major disaster in film involves September 22nd, September 23rd, or September 24th in some capacity. In Evan Almighty, Morgan Freeman tells Steve Carell that he needs to build an ark by September 22nd.
Until September 22nd, midday. And if the ark isn't finished by then, you will be.
The plane from Lost crashes onto the island on September 22nd.
When did you come here? How long ago?
60, 65 days.
What was the date? What was the date?
September 22nd.
And 23 is one of the frequently reoccurring cursed numbers on the show. In Seeking a Friend for the End of the World, a voice on the radio is heard saying that an asteroid will destroy the Earth in 3 weeks.
The 70-mile-wide asteroid known commonly as Matilda is set to collide with Earth in exactly 3 weeks' time,
which lands between September 22nd and September 23rd. The entire movie 23 features Jim Carrey being obsessed with the number 23, and he believes that the number will open up a portal to hell.
23.
And the day we met was?
September 14th.
9/14. 14 plus 9 is?
23.
In the first scene of Tomorrowland, George Clooney says the line,
"The future can be scary."
And then you see those bulbs light up, and there it is again, 923. In Volcano 1997, a scene has a caption stating that the time is 9:23 a.m., and a little later on in the movie, there's a car with a license plate saying 239, which in most of the world's countries is how you would write September 23rd. But it's not just in movies, it's in music videos and commercials as well. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Here's a Guinness beer ad where a giant stopwatch is at 9:23. Later in the commercial, we hear this ominous line.
If you keep an open mind, you'll discover dark secrets.
But what about the real world? What significance does this date hold in history? There isn't that much there, but it's notable that the planet of Neptune was discovered on this date. According to astrologists, Neptune is said to represent movies, media, and entertainment. But we're only dealing with astrology here. There's a bit of real astronomy dealing with 923 to look at as well. Astronomy is brought up a lot when people talk about this date, because of some concern over strange-looking astronomical alignments. This one infographic does a good job of explaining it, and you can still verify its claims from the Wayback Machine. If you were to check out the sky's alignment on September 23rd, 2017, you'd get something difficult to explain. So if you were to go to google.com/sky/ and go to this specific area and turn on the infrared telescope setting, you'd notice this huge black rectangle, like Google censored something out of the night sky. If you were to use the microwave telescope and layer it, then you'd see that there's still a blockage. There's still something that Google is trying to keep you from seeing. Now, this is where things get weird. If you'd go to this NASA website and enter the coordinates we had at that big black rectangle, if we select the IRAS 100 micron telescope and smooth out the color palette a little, we get this image. What is this supposed to be? Pareidolia is the phenomenon where you see human faces in objects when they aren't really there, which is one explanation for why we see this expression in the night sky. But why would Google go to all the effort to censor something like this? And why would they go about censoring it in such an obvious manner? And if there is some kind of a conspiracy, then why wouldn't NASA and the federal government keep us from seeing this too? The guy who made this infographic goes on to interpret this as being the red dragon mentioned in the Book of Revelation, and while I'm not going to go into that, I'll leave a link to it in the description if that interests you.
Then, the miracle of deliverance. By 9:23, the water of life shall proceed forth from the throne of the Lamb, and the day of the Lord shall be a...
Now, all of this is probably nonsense. You could pick any date and start seeing all these strange coincidences everywhere, and that image of the night sky is probably something perfectly innocuous. Remember, nothing ever happens. This year's 923 will come and go, just like every 923 before it. And if you're watching this video after the 2023 923, then that surely proves that none of this is real. Nothing ever happens.